the last video, I ended up doing all these coolant lines, and I ended up installing the windshield wiper fluid reservoir, which isn't much, and because it rains, these holes are not waterproof. I mean, it's vented hood. I had to cover the intakes, or where the intake boxes go, with a plastic bag. And this today, I'm hoping not only to install the cold air intakes, change the serpentine belt, change the spark plugs. Yes, in the last video I said I won't be doing it, but to change or to put blow-off valves, I literally have to take these intercoolers off in order to do so. So regardless, I still have to take the box off, so may as well just change out the spark plugs. Well, change the serpentine belt. That took a while because if you take a look over here, this got stripped. Stuff that hasn't moved from auction in a while gets stripped. So had to batter it in, get it stuck in there, and then use the tensioner to put on the belt. But honestly, the belt is so hard to remove over here that I had to remove the tensioner just a tad bit out in order to slide the belt from the other side in, because the tensioner is so close to the alternator that even if you pull on the tensioner, there's no way the belt is coming through. So next I'm going to be working on spark plugs and blow-off valves. And in order to do that, you got to take off these intercoolers. So I'm going to start with the right side, the passenger side, and then move on to the left side. It's just 4 bolts holding it, and we'll see how well it actually works. There is 4 to 5 bolts that hold this intercooler. So this might be one. I have to take that off. 1, 2, 3 right here, and then down there you can see 4 and 5. So I had to take off this coolant line down here just to put it away in order to get to those bolts. And honestly, you want to take off this coolant line running there as well. So I had to remove this coolant line, remove these, and loosen these up. And this one was a pain in the butt to get to, but they're at the 7mm. So it's time to see if I can pull this intercooler out. Also, you got to make sure these clamps and everything are really loose, and also you got to remove the sensor. That way it's easier to take off this intercooler. Now it's time to change the spark plugs. So I removed these wires right here. I just had they clip on here, right over here. So where it clips on, you pinch it from this side and you pull it, and it should come right off. And these are ignition coil packs, which I'm assuming is now going to be easier to take off since I removed pretty much all the wiring here. That was pretty easy to remove, the ignition coil pack. Once you have a 10mm socket, you just pull it out, and then you go on to change the spark plugs. Because whenever you change the spark plugs, you might have to use pliers to squeeze in the ends and pop wires out. And my coil packs, I had to remove the wires from them, like pull the clips off in order to remove the coil packs, because it's really tight in there. And got brand new spark plugs on this side. And to change these spark plugs, gotta use a 14mm socket. Now I have it all plugged in. Now it's time to work on installing the blow-off valve on this side of the motor, and then work on that side. Here are my blow-off valves from TurboSmart, from Z1 actually. Looks like they're not any different, so they can go on any side, because some kits have a different specific size depending on what side of the engine you're putting your blow-off valves, and there's 2 of them. Comes with lines, vacuum lines, and I gotta figure this out. So hopefully I can figure that out today. If not, then not, but we'll see. Now the blow-off valve attaches over here. The shorter side goes to the passengers, goes to the driver. So got this installed. It's nice and tight. It ain't going anywhere. I really did it. That intercooler is back installed, and you can see the blow-off valve right here. The vacuum line's pointing up. Removed this second intercooler, which is a little bit it's a little easier and a little harder at the same time. Hardest part is this clips onto the intercooler on the side. I don't know why Infiniti did that, but anyway, took off the coil packs, and going to be, what do you call, removing the spark plugs now. And I'll show you what's going to be the hardest part for installing the blow-off valve. That vacuum line right there needs to come off. So guys, got the spark plugs changed. And now it's time to go to that idiotic vacuum line sitting all the way there next to that one on the right. Now we can start working on getting the intercooler back on along with the blow-off valve on the right side. So these are a different blow-off valves. They're not HKS, they're Turbo Smarts. And because they're Turbo Smarts, they're a little different. Let's just say the vacuum line, we connected it back here. We connected it back here, and then we spun this around, which is connected to a T where this little vacuum line goes all the way there. And I've added the zip tie to the little vacuum line, so hopefully that's strong enough to keep it from popping out. But I think we're Gucci on that one. So guys, I got the intercoolers back assembled. As you can see, the blow-off valves are sitting nice and perfectly. Don't follow my advice all the way on when it comes to what do you call? Just wiping away some dust off my carbon fiber here. But don't follow my advice all the way when it comes to these vacuum lines. Maybe I'm not doing it right, but if you watch this video and you've seen how I did it, and if it works for me, then it'll work for you. But also guys, what you have to know is that it's best to take everything off on the intercoolers, especially if you got new charge pipes or couplings attached to them. That way, when you take off these intercoolers, you may as well go ahead and it'd be easier for you to get to the vacuum lines, to get to what you need to get to. Because I'm telling you, if I haven't taken these off fully, I would not be able to change my spark plugs. So if you do this, may as well change your spark plugs right away and be good for at least 45,000 miles. And also, just enjoy your time, take your time doing it. So here's pretty much the final product. Don't worry guys, I am clipping off all the zip ties. I'm just gonna show you how I ran the vacuum lines. I ran this vacuum line from underneath the throttle body. So hopefully though, it's not gonna overheat anywhere or melt off or anything. And I ran this down to here, put zip ties everywhere. According to the instructions, supposed to put zip ties on the fittings. Here's that T. So yeah, this is perfect. Hopefully everything is Gucci, and when I turn on the car, it's gonna make some nice pulling noises. So there you have it. For professionalism, I cut all the zip ties to the proper mechanic way. If this thing checks out, when we start, it'd be good to go. Next on the project list is probably to either what I was mentioning in the last episode with the hood. Gotta do the holes up there. And I gotta add the intakes, connect all the electronic wires yet, connect all the radiators, and not to mention I'm still adding an oil cooler to the front. So that's gonna take some time, but nevertheless, each day I work on this, it gets closer and closer to completion. Not canceled. Guys, I'm Eddie B. 2006 Turn light. Driving attempt on the 6 Series.